Dear students, welcome back. It is the third video. You are learning technical business writing, week 5th, sources of writing and reader's adaptation. Dear students, in the second video, we had a brief discussion how one can become a better writer. And there were 12 points that the writer of the current times have to follow, and they follow mostly. Number one, understand the writing norms, read more, fine, have a proper understanding and purpose, make a brief outline, okay, include very good words, always try to collect excellent dictionary or dictions, and always keep chiseling or keep the crafting your writing clear. Never be satisfied with what you have written. All the time make improvement, and never be disappointed once you have written something not up to the mark. In the beginning it happens. Well, this discussion is reader's adaptation. First thing, what adaptation means. Adaptation means to be acceptable, to come down at the level, or something which is adjustable. Flexibility, to adjust in a situation, flexibility to be able to acceptable. I mean, there are different meanings of the adaptation. Reader's adaptation means that the writer writing a technical report, an email, or a user guide, or a business letter, or an informal letter, or blog, whatsoever one is writing, he must be clear, and he should write about the audience interest, education, readability, so that the very piece of writing may be easily digestible and understandable by the reader. This way is called reader's adaptation, mean making every possible effort, be in ideas, simplicity in idea, using easy words, using strong transitions, using diagrams, illustrations, flowcharts, examples. Mean writer have to do everything possible to catch the mind or understanding of the reader, listener, spectator, is called reader's adaptation. Let's have a simple example. Computer sciences or programming courses now have, or computer sciences, a little bit is also taught in matriculation. You have observed that most of the students now who are matric or FSC, they take computer as a major subject. Computer is also being taught to you. You are learning computer in advance. And your teachers who are MPhil and PhD, they also have learned, and they learn the high level. Now the question is whether a teacher teaching a PhD scholar can teach in the same way to a student of matriculation. Fine. Can he share those ideas? Can he give him the long papers? Can he make a matriculation student sit in front and give a 3 hours long discussion? Is it so? Exactly not. If he does, it will be a failed experiment. The student, rather than learning anything, will be bored and he'll start disliking that subject. Why? Because the speaker, the teacher, the trainer is beyond his comprehension, beyond his understanding. And when something becomes confusing, complex, our brain doesn't accept it. It is written in other language. The level of examples is beyond or quite above than our understanding. Then automatically, this is the point where the boring, failure, and hate with the subject starts. Therefore, the teachers teaching in the primary, in middle, they opt a different methodology. Clear? And you should learn it. That, for example, come down to other level. You have found that this teachers of the nursery, they how they teach the children, little babies. They 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 use different color pencils. They use their books are pictorial. They have different pictures. Okay, there are sounds, there are colors. Clear? And the teacher starts teaching, talking like as if she's herself a baby, and she listens to them, she guides them, she speaks politely. Okay, she listens to their innocent complaints. And this is what the reader's adaptation, that we have to come down to the level. And this is a best example with the mother, that a mother, how she deals a baby. Exactly, she comes down to the level of the baby and listens to her, and she understands even something which the baby has said in non-verbal expressions. Fine. So reader's adaptation is one of the very important tasks for everyone, for every speaker, for every writer, for every leader. Clear? Here are certain tips to achieve better adaptation. Let's suppose you are writing a report on robotics for the students of the matriculation. Suppose you are writing a report about robotics to or for the students of the matriculation. And how would you do it? How would you start? What point of view you will create? What would be the sentences? What type of vocabulary will you use? What type of examples you are going to discuss? What type of diagrams you are going to share? Okay, what type of questions you are going to ask from them? They matters a lot. Just keep this phenomena in your mind. Fine. And how would you do this? And how will you achieve this end, that your writing should be ought to be enough creative and interesting that the readers of the matriculation student easily gobble or easily digest your expressions. Okay, and there are certain situations in which writers have to do it. Okay, adaptation is very important with culture, with language, with social background. It changes, and the writer, the speaker have to understand it, and then accordingly he has to make a policy to deal with such matters. Clear? Here are certain tips that you can use to achieve reader's adaptation. Number one, add information readers need to understand your document. Mean you are writing a report about robotics, then add information which is necessary to, or which is necessary for the students of matriculation to understand your subject matter. Omit information your readers don't need. Mean some information which they already have had, you don't need to put, or some information which is quite complex or quite advanced than their uh, understanding or a conception, then do not include it. Change the level of the information you currently have. It is this, that never share with your students in writing in a blog the information which is outdated. I mean, never, you shouldn't talk about, give examples about the robotics, about the robots and their functions 10 years ago, a decade ago, or the two. Do bring the latest information about the robotics, and they should be put in interesting manner. Add example to help readers understand. Exemplification is a very strong tool for the adaptation. Exemplify. People can't learn a bare expression. They need examples. Why we need examples? Because everybody doesn't possess a similar kind of experience. People come from various experiences, various fields, various dimensions, various outlooks, and therefore, when you aim to give a consensus, a consolidated, agreed concept, same concept in the minds of all the people, then we have to give examples. Fine. Exemplification is one of the very important thing, and examples should be relevant, appropriate, and best to express that situation. Change the level of your examples. Here it matters that examples for the matriculation students are different. Metric examples for the students of BScs 8th semesters are different, and examples for a PhD student are different. So examples of over the same subject matter vary according to the understanding level. Change the organization of your information. This matters most. That how you are going to put your information. Are you using inductive way or deductive way? Are you introducing something first? For example, you say it is wonderful and this and that, rather than for the matriculation students, we have to start with some picture, some question. Have you ever seen something like human, but that is not human? It has the limbs and everything. It performs certain actions. Do you know this machine is made up of the metals and it works with the energy? What do we call it? Yes, robots. Robots are one of the machines which human beings have designed and have assigned them some attributes like the human being. Clear? This is how you create interest, and you can change the organization level. Then what robotics is and how it started, it is up to you. Strengthen transitions. Well, dear students, transitions are called the jump from one concept to the other. Changing mean floating from one concept to the others. This is called transitions. Understand it that sentences are actually the concept, and these concepts have to be linked through the conjunctions, and these conjunctions and, but, therefore, although, yet, both, but also, I mean, they are the transitions, and these transitions have to be used quite carefully. And if the transitions are picked out, the remaining is just scattered concepts. Therefore, transitions are very important. But unfortunately, this section is often overlooked, that students are unable in certain cases to join the fragments. Clear? These transitions help us to join phrases, clauses, subordinate clauses, main clauses mean they help us joining the concepts. They should be very strong, and they are the logical connections. Write stronger introductions both for the whole document and for the major sections. This is very important. In technical and business writing, or in any writing, the first obligation for the writer is to introduce the subject matter. Clear? The way may be interesting, but something we have to do is introduction. Clear? Thereby, for example, you are writing a similar example, a report of robotics on robotics. Give the idea. First, what robotics? What are the robots? Okay. What is the concept of reports? Theory of robotics. History, how the first reports were developed. Benefit of the reports. Okay. And in reports in the current life. Give pictures. Clear? So introduction is a very important thing. And introductions are written for the entire report, and in technical and business writing, the introductions are written in form of executive summaries, that before the detailed discussion in the beginning of the chapter, the summaries are written of the major sections. This thing you can find in the books, that in the beginning, soon after the table of content, you find the summary, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, a brief abstract or summary is given. It is the style of the writer, or the demand, or the format of the writing, that how one can write for the convenience of the reader. Dear students, I'm sure that you have learned the key concepts of the reader's adaptation. Stay with us.